You are doing intermittent fasting to lose weight or get healthier. But do you know what this does to your hair? Today, we are going to learn what fasting actually does to your hair and why some people lose hair when they fast, while others do not. Sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer involves an interesting conversation happening inside your body, one that most people have never heard about. Before we start, just a quick note. This video is to teach you only. It is not medical advice. If you are worried about losing hair, please talk to a doctor. Now, let us start with something interesting. Over 2,000 years ago, a Greek doctor named Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine, noticed something curious. When his patients got sick, they often did not want to eat. Instead of making them eat, he let them fast. He believed the body knew what it was doing. He believed fasting could help the body heal itself. This idea has lasted for thousands of years. Today, millions of people practice fasting for health benefits. And many believe that fasting helps the body repair and heal, including the hair. But here is where things get tricky. If fasting helps the body heal, why do some people notice their hair falling out after weeks or months of intermittent fasting? Why do others say their hair actually got healthier? To understand this, we need to look at how hair actually grows. Every single hair on your head grows from a small structure called a hair follicle. Think of it as a tiny pocket in your skin that makes hair. Inside each follicle, there are special cells called stem cells. These stem cells are responsible for making new hair. Now, here is something most people do not know. Your hair does not grow all the time. It goes through cycles. Understanding these cycles is important to understanding how fasting affects your hair. The first phase is the growth phase, also called anagen. This is when your hair is actively growing. It lasts between 2 to 7 years, depending on your genetics and overall health. During this time, your hair grows about ½ an inch every month. This is when the stem cells in your follicles are active and working hard to make new hair. The second phase is the transition phase, also called the catagen phase. This is a short phase that lasts only 2 to 3 weeks. During this time, the hair follicle shrinks and the hair stops growing. The stem cells become less active. The third phase is the resting phase, also called the telogen phase. And this lasts about 3 to 4 months. The hair is not growing during this time. It is just sitting in the follicle waiting to fall out. The stem cells are sleeping. Finally, there is the shedding phase. The old hair falls out and the follicle gets ready to start a new cycle. A new hair begins to grow and pushes the old hair out. Here's the key point. Each hair follicle has its own cycle. They do not all grow and shed at the same time. That is why you normally lose 50 to 100 hairs every day, but you do not notice it. New hairs are growing to replace them. But what happens when your body experiences stress? When your body goes through a stressful event, many hair follicles can shift into the resting phase at the same time. Then 2 to 3 months later, all those hairs fall out together. This is called telogen effluvium. It is one of the most common types of hair loss, and it can happen after major stress, illness, surgery, or yes, big dietary changes, including fasting. Now let us talk about what happens in your body when you fast. When you stop eating, your body notices that no food is coming in. It does not know if this is a short fast or the beginning of a famine. So it starts making changes to survive. One of the first things that happens is your body makes more of a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone. It helps your body respond to challenges and manage energy when food is not available. Cortisol tells your liver to release stored glucose. It helps your body stay alert. It prepares your body to deal with whatever challenge is coming. In small amounts and for short periods, cortisol is completely normal and healthy. It is part of your body's natural rhythm. Cortisol is actually highest in the morning to help you wake up and lowest at night when you sleep. But when cortisol stays high for long periods, it starts to affect other systems in your body, and one of those systems is hair growth. In 2024, researchers at Hebei Medical University in China published a study that gives us clear evidence of how cortisol affects hair in real people, not just in laboratory conditions. This study looked at 120 patients with hair loss, and what they found was surprising. They divided the patients into 2 groups, those experiencing psychological stress and those who were not. Then they measured cortisol levels in their blood 3 times a day, morning, evening, and midnight. They also measured the actual thickness and density of their hair. The results were clear. Patients who were stressed had much higher cortisol levels at every time point throughout the day. And here's the key finding. Those same stressed patients had thinner hair. Their average hair diameter was smaller, their hair density was lower. The connection between high cortisol and poor hair quality was direct and measurable. But the study went even further. They followed these patients for a full year while treating them with minoxidil, a common hair loss treatment. Even with treatment, the stressed group showed worse results. Their hair loss continued to get worse more than the non-stressed group. The treatment was less effective for them. What does this tell us? It tells us that cortisol, the stress hormone, directly affects hair growth in humans. When cortisol is always high, hair becomes thinner and treatment works less effectively. This is not a theory. This is measured data from real people. Here's the connection to fasting. When you fast, especially for long periods, your cortisol levels go up. This is a natural survival response. Your body sees the absence of food as a challenge, and it releases cortisol to help you cope. But higher cortisol can mean your hair suffers. Now, there's another important factor we need to talk about. IGF-1. This is just as important as cortisol when it comes to understanding how fasting affects hair. IGF-1 stands for insulin-like growth factor 1. Despite its complicated name, what it does is simple. It helps many tissues in your body grow and repair. This includes muscles, bones, and yes, hair. IGF-1 is made mainly by the liver, and its production is influenced by several things, including growth hormone and what you eat. When you eat regularly, especially protein, IGF-1 levels stay up. When you fast for long periods, IGF-1 levels go down. This is actually one of the proposed benefits of fasting for longevity, as lower IGF-1 may slow down aging in some ways. But it also has implications for hair. Why does this matter for hair? Scientists have studied this connection for over 2 decades. In laboratory experiments, when they added IGF-1 directly to hair follicles, the hair grew longer. The follicles stayed in the active growth phase for a longer time. When they blocked IGF-1, hair growth slowed down. There is also a rare medical condition that shows us how important IGF-1 is. It is called Laron syndrome. People with this condition cannot produce IGF-1. And one of the characteristics of people with Laron syndrome is that they have thin, sparse hair that grows slowly. Their hairline often recedes. Their hair is weaker than normal. This is like a natural experiment showing us how important IGF-1 is for hair growth. Multiple studies over the past decade have confirmed this connection. Researchers found that hair follicles in balding areas of the scalp produce much less IGF-1 than hair follicles in areas with healthy hair. When scientists added IGF-1 to hair follicles in laboratory experiments, the hair grew longer and stayed in the growth phase for a longer time. So when you fast and your IGF-1 levels drop, your hair follicles may not get the signal they need to grow at their best. Now you might be asking, if fasting increases cortisol and decreases IGF-1, and both of these are bad for hair, why would anyone say fasting is good for hair? This is where we need to understand how your body makes decisions. Your body is incredibly smart. It has systems that have been improved over millions of years of evolution. And one of the most important things your body does is prioritize. Think about it this way. When food is scarce, your body has to decide where to send its limited resources. What is more important for survival, your brain or your hair? Your brain uses about 20% of your total energy, even though it is only about 2% of your body weight. Your brain is absolutely necessary for survival. You need it to find food, avoid danger, and stay alive. Your hair, on the other hand, is not necessary for survival. You can live perfectly well without hair. From a pure survival standpoint, hair is a luxury. So when resources are limited, your body chooses to protect your brain and other vital organs. It reduces energy, going to less critical functions, including hair growth. This is not a flaw in your body. This is intelligent design. Your ancestors survived famines because their bodies knew how to prioritize. The ones who kept growing thick hair during starvation probably did not survive to pass on their genes. But here's the important part. This does not mean fasting is bad. Fasting has many proven benefits. It can help with weight loss. It can improve insulin sensitivity. It can reduce inflammation. Many people feel more mentally clear when they fast. These benefits are real and well documented. The question is not whether fasting is good or bad. Now, the question is how to fast in a way that gives you the benefits without causing problems like hair loss. Not everyone who fasts loses hair. Many people fast for years without any hair problems at all. Why is that? Several factors determine how fasting affects your hair. First, the length and intensity of fasting matters. Someone doing a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window is very different from someone doing 24-hour fasts multiple times a week. The longer and more frequent the fasts, the more stress on the body. Second, what you eat during your eating window matters. If you are not getting enough protein, iron, zinc, and other nutrients your hair needs, your hair will suffer regardless of your fasting schedule. Third, individual variation matters. Some people are more sensitive to dietary changes than others. Genetics play a role, hormone levels play a role, overall health plays a role. Fourth, how long you have been fasting matters. Your body can adapt to new eating patterns over time. Someone who just started fasting last month may experience different effects than someone who has been fasting for 2 years. So what should you look out for? If you are fasting and you start losing more than 100 hairs per day consistently, that is a sign something may be off. If you notice your hair getting noticeably thinner after 2 to 3 months of fasting, pay attention. If your hair becomes dry, brittle, or breaks easily, these are warning signs. Remember, hair loss from this type of stress usually shows up 2 to 3 months after the stress begins. So if you started a new fasting routine and your hair starts falling out 3 months later, there may be a connection. What can you do if this happens? First, consider whether your fasting might be too aggressive for your body. You might need to shorten your fasting windows or fast less frequently. If you are doing 20-hour fasts, try 16 hours instead. If you're fasting every day, try fasting only a few days per week. Give your body time to adapt. Second, look at your nutrition during your eating windows. This is crucial. Make sure you're getting enough protein. Your hair is made of protein, and without enough protein, your body simply cannot build healthy hair. Make sure you are also getting enough iron, zinc, biotin, and vitamin D. These are all important for hair health. Many people who fast end up eating less overall, and this can lead to nutrient deficiencies even if you are eating healthy foods. Third, manage your overall stress levels. Remember, fasting is a form of stress on the body. It is a controlled, often beneficial stress, but it is stress nonetheless. If you add fasting on top of other major stresses in your life, like work pressure, lack of sleep, or emotional difficulties, the combined effect on your cortisol can be significant. Consider whether now is the right time for aggressive fasting, or whether you need to address other stresses first. Fourth, give your body time to adapt. If you have just started fasting, your body may need several weeks or even months to adjust. The initial stress response often calms down as your body becomes used to the new pattern. Do not panic if you see some changes in the first few months. Fifth, if your hair loss is significant and does not improve after adjusting your approach, talk to a doctor. A dermatologist or endocrinologist can check for other factors that might be involved, like thyroid problems or nutrient deficiencies. They can do blood tests to see what is actually happening in your body. Let us come back to where we started. Hippocrates believed the body could heal itself, and in many ways he was right. Our bodies are remarkable at adapting and recovering. But healing requires resources. It requires energy. It requires the right conditions. Fasting can be a powerful tool for health. But like any tool, it needs to be used wisely. Your hair is actually giving you useful information. It is telling you something about what is happening inside your body. When your hair is healthy and growing well, it is a sign that your body has enough resources to spare for non-essential functions. When your hair starts to thin or fall out, it may be a signal that your body is prioritizing survival over growth. Listen to these signals. Work with your body, not against it. The science is clear. Fasting affects hormones like cortisol and IGF-1, and these hormones directly influence your hair follicles. But the science also shows that these effects vary widely from person to person. Your experience may be completely different from someone else's. This is why blanket statements like fasting causes hair loss or fasting is great for hair are both misleading. The truth is more complicated. For some people, in some circumstances, fasting may contribute to hair thinning. For others, it may have no effect at all. And for some, the overall health improvements from fasting may actually benefit their hair indirectly. The key is to pay attention to your own body. Notice how it responds. Adjust your approach based on what you observe. And if you have concerns, do not hesitate to seek professional guidance. Your body is trying to keep you healthy. Sometimes that means making trade-offs. Understanding those trade-offs helps you make better decisions about your health. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who is fasting and wondering about their hair. And leave a comment below. Have you noticed any changes in your hair since you started fasting? Your experience might help someone else who is going through the same thing. We read every comment and love hearing your stories. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening to what your body is telling you.